Welcome to Caleb's Basketball Pod. Like I said, we're going to come up with some fun things to keep the basketball season going. Maybe do an episode or two a week, but just some fun little things. For this episode, we will discuss mindset as a basketball player, mindset as a coach too. Gonna go in a little bit in depth of each and how they differ, and how it can make an impact on how a game goes, and some tips, advice for younger players, but stuff like that. But before we do, we're going to get into our news that I don't want to say breaking, but kind of been going on. We've seen a lot of injuries in this offseason, unfortunately. Good breaking news, let's start with that. Victor Wembanyama has been cleared to return to play. Now we're going to the not so good news, and we start off with Paul George had surgery. He will be reevaluated before the training camp starts for Philadelphia 76ers. Joel Embiid had surgery. He will also be reevaluated before training camp starts. So it'll be interesting, and we hope both of those guys are healthy by the start of the year. Let's just take a little deep dive into the Sixers team. So they played 15 games together last season. I'm talking about Paul George, Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey. Not what you expected, not what you went into the season signing up for. You went in, you signed up to think you had Paul George, he'd be that missing piece, he would do better than Tobias Harris, and the truth is you took him on the floor long enough to see if he could do more than Tobias Harris. The good thing about Tobias Harris, he was a constant. He may have not gave you as many points, but he was constantly there, and he was doing little things that nobody talks about, nobody notices, and that's how this guy is still in the league collecting these big contracts, because he's doing the small things people don't talk about, people don't notice. He's a starter for the Detroit Pistons, playing most of the year and helping them go to the NBA playoffs after being one of the worst teams in the league the season prior. So it's about excelling in your role, but knowing your role, and also being able to do your role consistently. Whether that means some games you don't show up, as in you're not really there playing, you're there but you're not there, or as in some games you just can't show up because of injuries, and that there's a double-edged sword to that. Sometimes you're there, but you can't do anything because you can't be on the floor. Sometimes you're playing through injuries, you can't do anything. And it's tough, and it's very unfortunate that Joel Embiid and Paul George seasons were wrecked with injuries. But we're hoping for the best for Philly. I do think, and we'll discuss it when we get closer to the season, I want to talk about that Philly backcourt, because there's a lot of talent in that Philly backcourt. So when we get closer to the season, I'll most definitely discuss the Philly backcourt. Next topic. Derek Lively also had surgery to remove bone spores in his foot. They said he should be way go before training camp, so that's good. Anthony Davis had surgery, and there was Jaren Jackson had surgery. It's unfortunate. Paul George and Jaren Jackson's injury both happened in workouts. That's really unfortunate, because you try and ramp up, you try and get ready for the upcoming season. Maybe you're putting a little too much pressure on yourself, but injuries happen, and it's unfortunate. I hope both of them, I hope everyone I listed, I hope they're all ready to go by the time the season starts. Speaking of ready to go by the time the season starts, Victor Oladipo has been doing workouts in Vegas, being looked at by NBA and European teams with a chance to return to the NBA, possibly sign overseas if the NBA don't happen. And they said he's looking good. He's looking in really good shape. I've seen a couple clips from it here. As we all hope the best for him. We hope he makes his way back in the NBA, and I still think he can be a viable piece to a championship team. Maybe that sixth man that comes off and helps a team that's right there but needs a little bit more edge off the bench. He could be maybe that piece. So it'll be interesting, and see where he goes from there, and see what like, maybe we won't know why he took the season off, but maybe down the line one time we'll know, and it'll be interesting to see what his mindset going into what we're about to talk about in a little bit, but see what his mindset was about not playing last year. Maybe he needed to clear his head. Like I said, mentally, mind space, that means a lot to a sport, any sport. But we're talking about basketball specifically, and the right mindset can go from 0 points to, say, 25 points. Right mindset, just knowing what you're supposed to do and knowing where you're supposed to be and why you're doing that well and why you're supposed to excel at that and who the heck you are, and a mindset can change that. So let's start with this mindset discussion. Before I get going on this mindset discussion, because we're going to go into the player talk, first off, the player mindset. Before we get into this, I just want to point out for younger athletes watching this, growing up and wondering what you do and what your mindset should be, I don't believe you can develop a mindset. I think you have it or you don't. As in, you have it or you don't. It's you have that thing inside of you that wants to compete, that wants to be the best, that just constantly is thinking about ways to improve your game. Oh, they beat me because they did this. Say, they stopped me from going this direction, okay? Maybe I'm best at going that direction, but how do I counter? How do I get the ball back into the hand I need it in to finish either at the basket, stop on dime, hit that jump, or knock down these threes that maybe I'm not hitting? A lot of that goes into mindset. Yes, it's work, and it's tireless work, and you do it over and over and over and over again, and it's consistency, and you're consistently hitting these shots, you're consistently driving to the basket, you're consistently doing this dribble drill, you're consistent. There's more than that. Is more than consistently doing it. It's believing when you're doing it, nobody else is doing it better than you. And that's a part of that mindset. And for the kids and the younger athletes that may be watching this, I just want to say watch like Starting Five. It's an NBA Netflix show, or watch Quarterbacks. It's an NFL Netflix show. And I say both of those because that is a deep dive into a player's mindset. That gives you like what they're thinking in the moments. I love watching those shows because you get to hear what some of the greats or some of the really good players at their profession are thinking in the biggest moments before they make that go-to play. You also get in, and this is the cool part, you get into see what they're thinking when they don't get that big play, when they go for that play and they miss, because failure and success both makes everyone who they are. So you're seeing their mindset when they succeed, you're seeing their mindset when they fail. If your mindset is even close to what you're seeing on TV, you're going in the right direction. And now to just start this mindset discussion. Everybody talks about analytics. They talk about analytics in sports and tendencies and this and that. And analytics can find tendencies in if you're playing this one team, their tendencies to do this or that or all of that stuff. In the most honest and kind of try and be nice about way possible, I think that's bullcrap. I don't think analytics, I don't think tendencies, this and that, none of that is how you're going to beat the team. Because analytics and AI cannot predict the mindset of an athlete going into a game. Maybe something happened before that game. Maybe this athlete is like, okay, nothing else is going how I want it to, so my mind says I'm going to go out there and destroy. And their mindset is nobody's better than me. Every time I get the ball, it's going straight to the hole. But your analytics said the last 7 games, they were taking 60% three-pointers, 15% mid-range shots, and only driving 15% of the time, as your analytics said. But his mind and his mindset before the game said, I'm going to go into this game and I'm going to attack the basket and I'm going to dominate and score. And the mind's a powerful thing, because if you go into a game and you're like, hey, this game's over before it starts, we don't have the star power to beat these guys, game's over before it starts, and you're right. But if you go into this game and say, hey, we're a little undermanned, this is my time to shine, and you're confident that it doesn't matter who's on your team, you're the best player on the floor, you may just win that game. And if you don't win that game, you may still put up the best game of your life, because that's your mindset. Your mindset should always be leaning towards, I'm that guy. And it's not saying, like, it can be debated who the best player on the floor is. and who the best player all around is. That can be debated. But who plays the best in that one game cannot be debated. That is shown by the actions of every player on the floor. If your actions are showing you're the best player out there at that moment, you can't debate that. You may not be the best player of all time that's on that floor, but you're the best player in that moment and in that game. And that's why your mindset should always lean towards just who you are. Remembering who you are. You go into this game, you get them ready. Your mindset is, okay, you look around at your team, and this is just an easy one for me. You look around at your team and you're like, I have a lot of ball handlers out here. So I'm not needed to be a ball handler. So your mindset going into this game is, every time I get that, I'm going to shoot. I'm going to catch and shoot. Every time I get that, I'm going to cut to the basket. I'm going to just play up every single time I get it. But if your mindset is that you're the best at doing that, and you're getting that, and you're going into this game knowing what you're going to be doing, knowing that that's what you need to do, because that's what makes this team roll, this team click, this team go together, then it's great. You're doing your part. You're probably doing it better than anyone else, and you may be a big X factor on why your team wins. And it's vice versa. If you go into this game and you're down before this game and you're like, well, he's a ball handler, he's a ball handler, he's a ball handler, I'm the only not really all-around ball handler. I handle it sometimes, but not as much as them, so I'm the odd man out. Now there's that mindset. There's where you're wrong. There's where you lost yourself that game before you go into it. And I don't mean your team lost. I mean you lost. Because you went into it with the wrong mindset, when you could have went into it and said, I'm going to be the best blank I can be going into this game, and no one's going to be better than me. And that whole mindset and that confidence changes your whole game. Changes your confidence level, changes your energy level, changes your body language. It's all just in that mindset. And it's what nobody puts this together. People think that like you can plan this stuff out. Mindset is different than game plan and IQ. Now it can go hand in hand because of, much like I said, your game plan may change depending on where you're at, what team you're on, who you're on the floor with. Your game plan may change. Your IQ will never change. If you build an IQ for the game, it stays. You can only add to if you play it smart and you don't try to go outside of the lines of what you can do and what you should be doing. And if you know where you should be, you know what you should be doing, your IQ can only grow from seeing your teammates, your opponents even, and seeing how you can improve on that or how you can defend this guy better. That's IQ. It's the same defensively. So you're going into this game and you're seeing across the floor one of the better players in the league or wherever, and you're like, I'm guarding him. Your mindset for that game may not be anything to do with offense. Your mindset may be, hey, I'm stopping him and I'm going to show everyone I'm an elite defender. And that's your mindset. And that's where I go, like, the mind is such a powerful thing. And what you do with it is detrimental to how you assess, how you play, and how you attack this game. So I just would say, big thing, go into every game with confidence. Know who you are is huge. Know your limitations, know what you can do, know what you can't do, know how you can enhance what you can do and how you can make up for what you can't. And then the mindset should be every single game, I am the best one out there. If you're the best at anything out there and that's your mindset, you will excel and you will continue to be the best one out there. The numbers don't matter, the odds don't matter, and even if you feel the odds are against you, if you're still like, I'm the best one out here, we got this, you should be good. Now, flipping it to a coach mindset. I don't have as much experience in this because I haven't coached as much as I've played. But coach mindset. This was where it got different for me. Going into coaching, I volunteered coach one time for one season. And going into that, the mindset was a lot different because before it was always like, I can go into this game and I can be pumped up and I can be like, hey, this is my game. This is the game I go in and I show out and I do this. As a coach, your mindset had to be different. Your mindset had to be, how can I get the most out of my players? And then realizing as competitive as you are, maybe your players are not that competitive. Maybe you have to bring like that intensity down. Maybe for you, like you're telling yourself before this game, hey, I'm going to go out, I'm going to dominate. Maybe you're really excited, you're really like kind of mentally loud, like you're thinking loud in your head, and it's like, let's freaking go, something like that. Maybe who you're coaching, it's a lot quieter. And then the mindset goes from how can I excel to how can I get them to excel. And sometimes it's the mindset of trying to bring out that IQ, if that makes any sense. We know the game plan going into this. You state the game plan over and over again. They may get it, they may not. Some of them may get it, some of them may not. But how I mean by mindset is enhance that IQ, because when they don't get it, but they're out there in real time, when you sub them out, when the game's over, when it's halftime, when it's this or it's that, you have to keep encouraging them to see why you're saying to play this way. So why is your game plan this way? You keep encouraging them of, this is why my game plan is this way, because you're seeing it. When you're like, one thing that I know when I was coaching, one thing that kept happening was every time we were getting screened, they were half-court offense, we were getting screened, we were playing way too far up on these screens, and we weren't dropping. And instead of like going over and fighting over the top of these screens, which is what we were doing, where we should have been dropping. And off of these screens, we should have been staying low. When they set that screen, instead of going over top of that screen, we should have stayed under, met them on the other side, because they were using these screens to get us to go follow them over those screens, and now we were chasing. And they were trying to get to the basket and attack aggressively, and at that time we didn't have a big to really defend and make up and block shots inside, so when we're chasing, they're getting nearly open layups, and it's happening over and over and over again. So one thing was, I had to keep telling them drop, and then I would pull them off to the side, and when I would sub these kids out, I would let them know like, hey, now you're seeing it, now you're on the other side. In real time, maybe you're not seeing it as much, but now when you're watching the game, you see what I'm saying here, when you're pointing out and you're showing them, and then they're getting it. And that's what I mean, your mindset's not you. Your mindset is enhancing their IQ, because at the end of the day, it was a volunteer league. What was I doing as a coach? I was trying to help these kids go somewhere bigger, somewhere better for their school teams, possible AAU tournaments, stuff like that. So your mindset changed from really competitive to win, to if my kids got any better IQ-wise and more knowledge of the game and learned anything from it, that was wins for me. And that's what we did. And they got some wins, they got some mental and IQ victories and some regular victories. So that's, at the end of the day, that was a good day. But your mindset changes because you're not thinking for you. You can't go into this game and you can't say, I'm going to coach better than anyone. You can. But what defies coaching better than anyone? Is it them listening to you, or is it them understanding you? Because that's two different things. They can hear it, but they cannot understand it. So I would defy good coaching as in, you get your players, you know how to talk to them, you know how to make them understand it by how you're presenting it to them. And that is the difference of a player mindset and a coach mindset. And both you have to be on the right path for each one, and there's a reason you would look at each thing different. And there's also that in between, like you have to understand, like you can feel momentum. Momentum's part of that mindset. So maybe you go into this game and you're like, hey, we're going to go, and this is back to player. Hey, we're going to dominate. We're going to go out there and we're going to destroy. Well, now maybe you started overlooking them. Maybe you were so thinking about what you're going to do. You're not realizing about 5 minutes into the game, you're down like 15-3. And now you need to reevaluate and you need to change that mindset a bit. Maybe that mindset changes from you taking so many shots to maybe you're not shooting great that day. Now maybe it's facilitating, getting other people involved, bringing their confidence level up. Because if their confidence level's up, they're going to compete and play better. Their body language ain't there. Your body language was there, but now it's starting to not. it's starting to go down a little bit, but that's because you're not bringing people up with you. So now your mindset changes from I'm going to go out and I'm going to torch these guys and light them up to I'm going to go out, I'm going to get my teammates involved, going to build their confidence level up. Now once they're playing at 100% or 150% again, what we want, now I start bringing my level back up and I'm following their intensity, and you keep your intensity high until they meet you there, and now we're back in this game. And it's all that little stuff, and it's just thinking of it the right way. And it comes with, like I said, it comes with the IQ too, because you have to understand in that moment what's working, what's not. That's the IQ of it. Like, maybe you're on, maybe you're scoring so many baskets, but maybe you're realizing no one else is. There's that IQ. Hey, I need to get him shots. He likes the ball over there. How can I get him a shot over there? Oh, because I am on. If I drive to this part, this section of the court, this guy's going to help. When he helps, I kick. I'm not looking to score this time. Now I kick. Now I get him going. I get him involved. You see that morale coming up. You see the team's morale coming up. You see the intensity level rise, and here we are. Here we come. So it's small things like that, and I hope this episode gave you guys something to think about and just digest as we're in the off season of the NBA, and as you're possibly in the off season of your basketball time. Remember, keep the walk. Every practice, remember the mindset. You can practice the mindset by how you wake up in the day. How you plan to attack your day can be how you plan to attack on the basketball court. It's just knowing that every single thing you're doing, there's a mindset to it. And if you're not in the right mindset, you're going to struggle. If you're in that right mindset, you can dominate the all. So thank you guys for watching. I hope everybody learned something here. And it's never bad to look and figure out and find different top athletes' mindset, whether it's interviews, those Netflix shows I told you guys about. It's always a good thing to understand their mindset. Once you understand their mindset, if you have any of that mindset in you, in yourself, you enhance it. You get where they are because your mindset is how theirs is, and that's what brings you there. That's how you improve better than anyone else. That's how you do things quicker, faster, stronger, maybe just smarter than everyone else, because you get that mindset, because you understand it, and it can take you a long way. Thank you guys for watching.